Greetings everyone, I am Dimitrik and I welcome you to today's episode of Fryderykraft. Today we are standing on the balcony of Old City Hall, overlooking the old town where a bulk of the last episode's work had taken place. We spent some time building some interiors, making the city more complete and the streets a more pleasant place overall. Now, this building was once the municipal hub of administration, but as the city expanded, it could not accommodate the bureaucracy and space necessary to govern such a city, which is why New City Hall was erected. This towering neo-Renaissance structure is the most iconic monument in our city and one of my proudest builds, yet, despite its significance, it still remains unfinished. Most of the important rooms on the main floor have been completed, but that still leaves 2/3 of the building incomplete. I have a small custom on this channel that for every 10th episode ending with a 0 is spent working on the City Hall, which is why for the 30th installment I feel obligated to continue this tradition. The spacing also helps prevent burnout as this building is a massive undertaking and the pauses help its continual construction. So what will we be doing in today's episode? Well, this may appear to be one of the least important parts of the City Hall once the building is complete, but today I would like to do some work on the City Hall Cellar, where on this back wall on either side on the main hall of the ground floor, we have these two little entranceways which are currently mostly blocked off, which lead to the City Hall's underground lair. Now, for the cellar, I would like this area to be a little bit more accessible to the public with restaurants and event space for people to rent out or visit to have a nice good time, but currently it is home to our storage system for the materials used to build the City Hall, and if we are to take a look at them, we can see that I do not have enough to continue this project right now, so before we get to any building, I would like to replenish my supply of materials, so I shall set out to do just that. And now we have a restocked inventory of items, which means we may now begin construction on the City Hall for today's episode. So the first task at hand would be to do some excavations, as this is the cellar layer, and if you come down here you see that we are at the ground level outside, but this is supposed to be the underground layer. So the first thing we must do is to dig down a couple blocks so that we have enough space for our underground area. And on either side, we now have an area that's cleared out for our cellar, but we do not have a way to get down here quite yet. So the next thing I would like to do is that on these little rooms that are like on the middle section of the City Hall, like the one right here, and over here where we have this window area that goes a little bit forward into the square, I would like to use this space to make a nice stairwell that would go down into the section to have your access into the actual cellar. So here is our staircase, and as you can see, it is quite characteristic of the rest of the City Hall, with our color palette here being mostly the smooth sandstone. It is a very simple staircase, only going down a couple blocks down to the lair for the main level of the cellar. If we take a look, we can see that we have these arches here to add some extra detail and a different type of stone on the bottom. Unfortunately, this cannot be replaced as this is the exterior, so I might have to get a little creative a little bit later, but that will be how it is for now. I did have to be a little bit creative as the door here does not quite align with the window, so it was a little bit uneven whenever you walk in, but I did make this ledge here with these arches to make the window look a little bit more centered and a little bit more natural. On the other side, we have the exact same, just mirrored to go to the other side, and I think the staircase turned out quite well. So moving on to the next section, we have this main area of the cellar, which I have already laid out. So far we have this main hallway going from this door all the way to this corner tower. And then we have another hallway going down here, starting in the middle. So for this corner tower, I plan for there to be a second entrance into the City Hall. So if the first one is backed up or closed for whatever reason, guests may enter from this area to go straight to the cellar area, which is where most of the publicly open spaces are. And over here, we have this hallway that leads to the main room over here, which will probably have some seating and tables for people to eat dinner and whatnot. And this room will be the City Hall kitchen, where the food is prepared very close proximity to the dining area. Coming down over here, we have this other room over here facing the ocean, which might also serve as second dining area if I cannot find a different use for it. But you may be wondering, what is this dark oak wood? Well, you see, underneath us is the old City Hall vault, where a long time ago, this is where we would store all the items important to the server. So you can see government officials only. That's me. So if we come in, you can see that there's a sign, relics. There used to be barrels here, which were filled up with various important items, such as first block ever broken, and other important government things of government funds. They have since been moved due to renovation in the City Hall, rendering this area unusable and now obsolete. But I would like to preserve the original vault in some way. And for the actual interior of the cellar, I'm still debating whether or not I will lower the ground by 1 block to have a little step down here so that we have a little bit more head space. One thing I am decided on though is there will be lots of arches and vaulted ceilings, as this is the underground section and I would like it to feel like it is underground. Another thing is that I will probably be using a lot more stone types, such as blackstone and granite. As this is the underground section, it will be much less lavish and palatial as the upper floors, but it will still be a well-funded, well-built building, as this is the City Hall. And with that being my plans, I shall get to building and come back once that is complete. And after a couple weeks of construction, I am proud to present to you a completed City Hall cellar. So first on our tour, we will be heading left to the east section of the City Hall, where after we come down these stairs, we are greeted with this nice big hallway that leads us all the way to the other side of the building, where we have this room right here with a staircase leading to an exit or an entrance depending on which way you are approaching. But it allows for easy access and alternate routes into the City Hall in case the front is congested or there is an event at the square or some sort of emergency. But this hallway right here has some yellow stone with some brown wooden paneling underneath it, and some barrel vaults every now and then. We have these nice big windows to let in lots of light so we are not cast into darkness in this underground section. So turning this way, we have this big hall right here with this arcade on either side. And turning left, we have the City Hall eating room, where if there are any events or something like that, visitors may come into here when they are hungry and dine in the City Hall. We have some nice vaulted ceilings right here to sell the underground feel, as we are underground, and we do still have some nice big windows here so you can view all the street goers roaming about the city. Turning left, we have another dining room over here in case the first one was filled up or you just want a different place to eat, which is a little bit more quieter as there are fewer chairs in here. have some nice windows to overlook the ocean. Eventually there will be a rail line right here, so this may be a noisy room in the future. But where are all these customers getting their food? Well, that brings us to the City Hall kitchens, where we have all the appliances to make food, and we have some storage to store all our ingredients. We have stoves, ovens, sinks, anything that you may need. And over here we do have another exit into the outside area, just like that, which is mirrored on the other side. So in this other side, we have this room, which hasn't really been filled yet. Perhaps maybe a lounge room for the workers at the City Hall. Don't quite know yet. We have another hallway over here. And turning left, we have the City Hall Mystery Room. This one currently doesn't have a use, but perhaps maybe a event venue for anyone who wishes to rent it out. But right now, it is not currently open to the public. And over here, we have the City Hall storage room, where we have lots of storage for all the materials used to build the City Hall, and other things like that. We have an ender chest just for access. Other than that, it is the same as the other side, just mirrored, the same hallway as before, same exit, though this one curves in the opposite direction. It's for us to leave the City Hall. Now that concludes the tour for the City Hall today, but there is one last thing I would like to show you before I end off the episode, which is, if you look, you can see that our spires have finally matured to their green color. Before, around half of them still had their brown copper color, including the main spire, and this back corner spire over here, which was even in its first stage of oxidation, still being in that bright orange hue. But now, enough time has passed to where all the spires have weathered a little bit, and all the granite and jungle was replaced with prismarine and warped wood, as I like to do along, and the dome over there is also beginning to green as well, but this is the completed look of the exterior of the City Hall, so that is a nice thing. Unfortunately though, it is time for me to end the video, but we have gotten a great amount of work done. We have completed the entirety of the cellar layer of the City Hall, which in combination with the main floor and the Great Hall, we have now exceeded 50% of the interior done, which is very impressive as I seldom work on the interior of the City Hall. Even if progress is slow, today we are one step closer to completion. Now, I thank you for watching this video if you have made it here this far, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, and if you would like to see more, be sure to subscribe. Thank you for your viewership, and as always, I hope that I will remain your most faithful and obedient of servants.